I'm Michael Reese.
And I'm Woods Davis.
And this is the Digital President Podcast.
We've cracked the code for generating customers online for every business model.
In fact, we wrote the book on it.
We've built multiple multi-million-dollar businesses in as little as 90 days. And the one truth that we discovered is
the best business model is doing what you love and living your life by strategy.
You truly can follow your passion and create the life of your dreams,
as long as you have the right strategy.
If you're a real estate agent and you'd like to learn how you can partner with us to help you implement our strategies and systems in your business so you can make a lot more money and have a lot more time freedom, all without ever paying us a penny or giving up a percentage of your commission, go to partnershipdetails.com and schedule a call with us today. While it's fresh in your mind, go to partnershipdetails.com. Now on to the podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Digital President Podcast. My name is Michael Reese, and today it's me and your co-host, Mr. Woods Davis. We're going to be discussing the worst mistakes that people make when not only starting a YouTube channel, but really becoming successful. What are the worst mistakes on that path? So, we're gonna discuss this. Mr. Woods Davis, how are you doing today?
Man, doing good. This is definitely some of these mistakes, unfortunately, we learned the hard way. So excited to talk about this today.
Okay. Well, with that being, I'm just curious. Now I'm gonna be the judge and jury here. You're looking at me like, yes, judge. Out of the mistakes that we made, what do you think is the number one mistake? I mean, obviously we've talked a little bit back and forth about what these are. As of today, right now, if you had to say this is the worst mistake, what would it be?
The worst mistake for us was not posting videos on YouTube sooner. So fortunately, we have always used video for marketing purposes. We've always understood the power of creating video, being able to communicate to our clients, our prospects, and add value through content marketing. However, a lot of times those videos that we would post, we did a lot of videos on Facebook, Instagram, which added value, and those were valuable at the time. However, if we had taken the time to really understood the power of YouTube as a platform and posted our videos and made content specifically for YouTube a lot sooner, I think that would probably have been the number one mistake that we made. In fact, there is still videos that, it pains me, highly produced, amazing videos that we've shot that literally sit in like a Wistia account, like hundreds of videos that have not even really been released because we just didn't, for some reason, understand the power of YouTube and leverage YouTube as a platform. So I would say for us, it's not only just not starting video, but it was not starting shooting video and producing it for YouTube.
Yeah, and the truth is that, so if you unpack this, and let me give you a truth. We did start YouTube. I think my original YouTube channel, this is important to recognize because as you were saying it, I know we had the discussion and I was like, was it the worst mistake of not starting early? We started early. We didn't understand YouTube. And I think that, one of the things that that has always been one of our gifts is, getting better, right? And so let's take a step back. If our first video that we ever posted would have got 1 million views, we would have probably paid attention to YouTube. But if you go back to the very first video, I bet you I posted on YouTube in 2007, 2008, 100%. I know the video. It was in relation to helping agents get expireds, but I didn't understand the platform, right? And so, it'd be like going up to somebody and, I'm going to use the example, like going to a bar and meeting someone and being a female or a male and doing something in that first introduction as if y'all had been dating for 2 years before you even knew their name, right? Like maybe you slap them on the rear end. Maybe a girl slaps a guy on the rear end, right? and it's like, hey, and it's like, you don't even know my name. You never, like, there's a process to a relationship. And, we didn't understand from a marketing perspective, where YouTube fit into a cohesive marketing strategy, right? And so I think the worst mistake that we made early on was thinking that we understood YouTube, right? And therefore, because we thought we understood what it was, we thought we understood what it would provide, right? And so, usually usually I think a big mistake is going to come back to a mindset, a belief system, right? Here's the thing, Woods. I had a friend over here the other day. He left this morning. And I wrote down whatever it takes and divided by what you want, right? Like, look at it like a fraction, and then over time. And so me and this guy were having a conversation. And first of all, why would I have a conversation with this person? Well, great question. I was having a conversation with this person because this person had problems, real world problems that were in alignment that I could solve, but I wanted to think like him. And I wrote down what his problem was because I felt if I understood how he thought, I'd be able to produce more value on YouTube in the form of content for people that thought like him by really understanding and getting into the way that he thought, right? Mm-hmm. Well, in YouTube, one of the things that I used to think, right? Like when I used to think about YouTube, I didn't think about it as a place where people go to find solutions to problems. Therefore, I didn't have the intuitiveness to know in the beginning what to say, right? Like I wasn't going to YouTube to say, okay, I'm going to answer this question and that question because all of these people ask me, like Haley, a gal that's actually living here in Dorado. She moved here to produce videos and help with YouTube, but she wanted to do YouTube as well. Or with Jimmy Webb, Haley Henson. Both of those people have a certain set of problems, right? In my world, the goal that I could have produced was me talking to them in casual conversation over the last 48 hours because it was natural, right? It was natural. Yeah. And that's the difference between YouTube. YouTube isn't highly produced, perfect. It's about learning and becoming good at something and then being able to identify, how you can add value to somebody else. Last night, I got on YouTube. I went to a friend's house. His name is Chris. And Chris bought a brand new TV. Same TV as I did. And if you guys don't know, TVs at Costco, they don't have certain apps on it. Chris is in the financial space. The TV doesn't have CNBC.com on it. So I Google. It auto corrects in YouTube, Samsung Costco TV missing apps, right? There was a video of exactly what the problem was, right? Somebody knew that was a problem and someone provided content to that solution. And that's the scope of YouTube, right? The scope of YouTube is like I go to YouTube, don't tell the truth, Woods. If you have a really practical problem, how to get something done that you don't know what to do or where to start, YouTube is the best place, right? And so the biggest mistake that I thought it was like, because I didn't understand what it was, I didn't know what to say. And because I didn't know what to say, and I didn't understand all the things it could do, from how it could help me nurture people, how it could help me create new clients, cold, subscribe, all of the scope, I didn't see the value in doing it consistently. And so for when I started, I decided to stop, right? Does that make sense?
Man, I think it makes a lot of sense. It's really about having the right mindset around YouTube, really understanding it. I can remember the first YouTube video that I shot. I think it was explaining the Mortgage Forgiveness Debt Relief Act of 2007. And I remember posting it on YouTube, and for the sole purpose of just being able to host it on a landing page that I was going to drive traffic to on the landing page. And I remember specifically not posting videos on YouTube anymore because people could click the little button on the video and go off of my landing page, right? Because I wanted them to stay in my little funnel, right? So not even thinking like, well, what about all the other people that could have watched that, versus the little bit of traffic that I was driving to that landing page, And I think that and some people can still even have that mindset of like, man, I'm going to post these videos to my website or my blog and where there's only this little bit of traffic versus posting it on YouTube where people are actually going to consume content for the sole purpose of consuming content. So, the right mindset, the right mental models around YouTube, it really makes all the difference in the world.
Well, another thing that I'm going to say is for me, a big mistake was, again, it all goes back to mindset. Listen, when you have the right mindset, you've already so let's say you overcome mindset and you're committed. Let's just say that you get past that. That's not the problem. We got the right mindset and then we're committed. You run into another set of problems, which is really getting organized, knowing what to say and how to say it. And for me, that comes down to the content calendar, being strategic about your content. There's a balance, right? There's a balance. I think that the most popular people, our most successful people have to manage their time. I'll give you an example. This morning, I sent an invite yesterday to a videographer to shoot video, right? That person, it wasn't, what I said at night is I was like, what could I have done differently? I sent them a calendar invite. I had a conversation with them, that I would have X, Y, Z done within 24 hours, right? And the truth is that we work within a tool called Monday, right? So we have a due date, we have a shoot date. And before I worked with that person, we had no Monday. So there was no clear date this way. This is a collaborative tool where I can put a note, she can put a note, I can put a outline, she can do like all a production plan, right? The first thing she said to me, or the last thing she said to me was, hey, listen, I know we're going to this mastermind in El Conquistador. We need to organize the questions we're going to ask. A lot of people would wing it. The biggest mistake people make on YouTube is winging it. I'm not saying that winging it doesn't work. I'm saying it's the biggest mistake people make, because winging it can only be done so many times. At some point, you can't wing everything. At some point, you have to get a strategy. And that's going to come back to shooting videos, where you're going to shoot them, who's going to shoot them, where you're going to publish them, what the topics are going to be about, what cameras you're going to use. All of that, again, at a very small level of going live every day, playing video games online is not the same as introducing somebody else to the show. The minute I will introduce Woods to the show, I got to know, hey, Woods, it's 3 o'clock in the morning your time when it's 7:30 my time. Now we have to coordinate times. And now we have to coordinate. There's another level of coordination that goes in. So like, again, it's organizing from the get-go. Hey, Woods, listen, we're going to do a podcast. Do we want to do a video? Are we committed? How are you going to do it based upon the bottleneck if you're in this city versus that city? What are the topics going to be? What are the talking points? Like, there's a level of organization. And so I think Monday allows people to organize. And I think the biggest mistake people make is they don't organize enough. Meaning, like, the real thing is that every minute that goes into organization saves you 5 minutes in wasted effort by somebody on your team. Whether that's 5 minutes of the editor's time, 5 minutes of the videographer's time, 5 minutes of the person. So like, every 1 minute invested in organization, somebody on that team, if not multiple people, are going to save 5 minutes, even if that team member is you, because you're going to sit there ready to shoot. Now you got the shooter hat on and you're like, well, what should I shoot? Right? And then it's like, then it's time to email it, but you didn't organize, so you don't have a document. And it's like, what did I talk about? Let me go watch the video again. Right? And so I think you need to practice how you play. I think organization and having the right tools. And I like Monday, and I know you like Monday as well. But I think organization at the core is the principle. that relates to what you said earlier, which when you are organized, you don't have the problem of knowing what to say. You don't have the problem of posting videos based upon them not being efficient, based upon being topics that people are searching for. I think organization gives you the calendar so that you don't look up and have good intentions and not produce the results, because organization comes down from the highest level of like the topics down to like the how, what, why, when, who, all of that around the YouTube content creation.
If you're going to shoot content, especially for YouTube, you're going to have to make a commitment to at least at minimum knowing, okay, well, what's my goal? Am I going to produce 3 videos a week? Or am I going to produce, X amount of videos? Then, when you really commit to something, it's going to be in the calendar, right? So like, we always talk about the foundation of any type of productivity management, time management is organizing your big rocks, the things that have to be done every week. And I think that one of the challenges and one of the mistakes that especially real estate agents make, especially when they're starting in YouTube, or they haven't really hit that sweet spot, they haven't really hit their stride yet, because it takes a little while to produce content over time, to build an audience, and build subscribers, to build people tuning in, to be able to figure it out. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they don't have it prioritized in the calendar. So that content calendar, it really threads the needle there, and it makes a priority. It gets those shoot times in the calendar, so without fail, at least these 3 videos are going to get shot. They're going to get edited. They're going to get produced. They're going to get uploaded, at these times that you've designated beforehand. And to me, that's like half the battle, because I think like what you said, is that when you're just winging it, like there's going to come a point in time where things are going to take priorities. A closing is going to fall apart. There's going to be family things that happen. There's going to be things that pop up, right? And so when you have a plan, you have a commitment ahead of time, it just makes it a lot easier to make it a priority. And one of the most difficult things about making something like YouTube and content marketing a priority is that it doesn't produce those immediate, really tangible results. So one of the tricks that you can kind of start to play in your mind is tying at least for me, this is something that's helpful, is kind of tying a future outcome to a KPI of producing a video. So let's say, what if I told you that every, 9 videos that you shot, you were going to, generate a client that was going to be worth $9,000. That means that you're getting paid $1,000 every time you shoot that video. So every time you show up today, man, I just took, 30 minutes, or I just took an hour to shoot a video. And I just made $1,000. That's $1,000 an hour work. That's the way that we have to think about it. But it's difficult because, again, it's not that immediate result. It's not like you generate an immediate lead. It's not that immediate, gratification that a lot of people seek. However, if we reframe it, we get it into the calendar, get some organization around it. I know that for us, as we started using Monday, and started getting more organized, I've started to get more excited about the process of shooting videos, because we can plan better. And not only can we plan better, the videos that we're shooting are more optimized. We're doing more research up front to identify the keywords, to identify the topics. Even this topic right now is been strategically selected because we did a little bit of organization up front. And without that organization, those little things like keyword planning and doing the little bit of research up front, those things fall through the cracks. So again, I know that this is a super, super key to unlocking the content game. Yeah.
And so, I would say, I would even take it a step deeper than that. I think that people, I believe this is wholly. Let me explain something to you. I believe people in real estate don't know how many few videos and that they need in order to make a living. And so they worry about the size of the list instead of the relationship with the list. And what I mean by that is I believe that for the business that I do right now, somebody, I think, 2,000 loyal fans and subscribers that really dial and listen into your content and are driving with you in the business that I'm in is all you need, right? Anything above and beyond that is, I'm not, if you want to, a friend of mine was talking about her niche, which was journalist. And I was like, and I'm going to ask you this, Woods, if there's 1 million realtors or 2, and there's 500,000 loan officers or 750,000, how many journalists do you think there are? Professional journalists in the world? I'm asking you, in the United States.
Man, I'd probably say maybe 100,000.
Okay, so and then how many of them have your problem? Like if you live in Lawton, it's different than Dallas, right? If you live, I got a guy right now who is crushing his YouTube channel in New Braunfels, Texas, and his video views are completely different than Dallas, Texas. But I'm going to tell you, the guys in Dallas, Texas, they go around saying, this is what they say. Listen to what they say. Good friends of mine. $1 million the first year in real estate. There's like 5 of them, right? Like that's a good thing. Maybe it's $1 million. There's at least 3 of them, right? But that's 87 transactions, right? Like when we started Partner in 2007, I had people that never sold more than 18 homes, sell 48 homes their first year, and people do 52 transactions their first year, right? So these individuals, they're now creating a narrative around, we did $1 million. How many are we? Like, right? Like, how many are we? That's the KRI, right? That's the KRI. That's the key result. That's focused on the outcome. That's teaching people the outcome. You said, well, why don't you reverse engineer what that is worth, right? Like, what is that value, that KPI, the key performance indicator, the thing that you do daily or weekly that has a related effect on the outcome that you're trying? Well, what is that? And here's the problem. It's videos. Well, now take another step back. Woods, this is important, okay? Well, why do you not post videos? One is their perfectionism. So in their mind, what they define as a video is made up in their head. And so what they define as the process is made up in their head. What they don't realize is that they did something yesterday and they're going to do something today that is, maybe it would have taken them 30 minutes, but it would take them 50 minutes in order to turn it into a content piece. But that would be strategic effort of looking at what you're doing today and find out how are you going to produce that content. So to me, it's perfectionism and then the feedback loop instead of their KPI and now their KRI. Instead of that, them reshifting that KRI, like in real estate, you have monetization. Most creators, bro, don't have monetization. Most creators have to do affiliate deals, create products, sell merch, right? Digital president, merch, in order to make money. They can't go sell a house and make $30,000. So for a real estate agent, let's just face it. You don't have to sell that many homes, like in order for you to say, like, work on your YouTube channel. And so, I'm saying not many at all. My buddy who was just here started his channel last year, and he's by himself, does everything himself. It only gets help with an outsourced editor. And he has 90,000 in commissions coming between now and the end of March, right? 17,000 closed last 60 days during the holidays. And if you knew where he came from and the most money he had made in his life before that versus where he is now, hands down. But you know what he does? And the way he thinks is different. And he understands that I have to produce value for my audience. My audience doesn't have to I don't have to have 1 million views. That doesn't matter. What's in my control, what's my KPI, I need to make sure I produce and I do this and I do it consistently. And I think that it's inevitable that if you do something like this consistently, whether it's trying to launch a rocket or whether it's trying to launch a YouTube channel, that you're gonna launch a rocket, it's not gonna work. You're gonna launch a rocket, it's not gonna work. But if you do it consistently in between each time, you're gonna learn, and you're gonna learn. And you really need to. You can either post 100 videos over the next year, or you can post 100 videos over the next 6 months. If you do it over the next 6 months, then you're gonna get to where your competitor, if they're doing the opposite, what it takes them to do, what they can do in 1 year, you're going to be at the 2-year mark, right? Because of the learning frequency and the post frequency and all of that combined. So I think it goes back to high leverage activity, align it, getting bottlenecked on what to say, and being a perfectionist and trying to measure video views versus the truth is there is something in your control. What is it? And let's focus on getting that done.
So one of the things that I've noticed is that there's so I've talked to some agents and seen some mistakes that they're currently making on their YouTube. And I would say that one of the most common things that I see happen when real estate agents are producing YouTube videos but they're not doing it strategically. I'm seeing that a lot of them are just posting the video tours of their listings, right? Which is a starting point, right? I mean, it's better than doing nothing. However, probably not, the best type of video to shoot. So again, this is where, the planning and the strategy comes into place. But even when you start shooting YouTube videos, and I was actually looking at an agent's channel, and throughout all of their descriptions and the banner of their YouTube channel, there's zero calls to action. There wasn't even a phone number to be able to call or text. I think that no, I don't even think that they had an email listed on the description for the video. It was in the video. There was a little thing at the end that said, hey, it had their basically a little end screen with their contact information, right? So I think one of the mistakes that that's common is not having a funnel, right? Not having a way for people, an easy way for people to take the next step to reach out to you from YouTube, whether that's, calling, texting, emailing, especially, if you're going to have people calling or texting is probably one of the most universal calls to action. To have somebody, an action that people are more likely to take is to shoot you a text, or even be able to just drop time right into your calendar. We have a lot of, agents that are successfully scheduling Zoom calls with people directly from their YouTube channel because they have a link to their calendar to schedule a call, to schedule a consultation, a Zoom meeting. The cool thing about that is that, number one, you're getting people straight to the end of the funnel. The whole goal of any real estate, sales process is to get an appointment. A face-to-face appointment is going to be usually best, but a face-to-face appointment can be done right now over Zoom. So not having the ability to give people, a call to action to basically take the next step is a mistake that I'm kind of shocked that I see quite a bit. And usually that's the people, again, that maybe not have the full strategy for YouTube, but just again, they're just starting to post videos, and usually those are like property tours or just their listing highlight, video of a property that they're listing. So, again, man, that contact information, call to action in the banner, whether that's schedule a Zoom meeting, call, text, email, or even, links to funnels, see what your home is worth, get a cash offer get up to 3 competing cash offers within 72 hours. So like all of those calls to action should be listed inside of the description. And preferably if you have some tracking links, then you can track all that stuff. I know that, the agents that we work with, they use a tracked ROI. They have a special tracking number. So all the text messages, calls, everything like goes to one number. and everything is tracked. So you can actually see what kind of volume you're getting from YouTube specifically. How many people are reaching out to you via text? How many people are calling via text? And then obviously too, how many people are scheduling appointments. So anyway, so that's just one mistake that I see, is not having proper calls to action. The cool thing is with YouTube, it doesn't have to be done in a real salesy way, but you do have to be specific with people and tell them how to take action, tell them what to do next in order to get more information. If they're thinking about making a move, text. If they're interested in getting more information, because they're thinking about making a move here soon, they can schedule a Zoom call, right? Let them know what to do, and that'll actually, I think, make the rubber hit the road with your videos.
And the most common mistake that real estate agents make, this is the number one. This is like if you said, out of all the millions of real estate agents, the number one common mistake amongst agents that they make in regards to YouTube, this is quantifiable. You can quantify this. This is irrefutable. The number one is they don't start. That's the biggest mistake, is that most people don't start. And that's the common mistake. And therefore, now why do they not start? It's for many, 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 many different reasons. But I can tell you that action always breeds clarity. And the best time to start your channel was yesterday. The second best time to start is today. And all of the things that you say to yourself on why you're not starting today is called an excuse. You're stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. You think you're doing things that are more productive. You think you're doing things that are going to create a better life. You think you're doing things that are going to make things easier, give you your time back, make you happier. And the truth is, YouTube has all of that stuff built in. I can assure you, everything. If I could take a business from an agent on YouTube versus a business from an agent not on YouTube, now I had to argue this point yesterday. The argument is I would do both. But I can tell you right now, I got a buddy of mine, and I'm going to end at this. This guy was struggling Thanksgiving 1 year ago. Thanksgiving 1 year ago, this guy was struggling. I'm going to leave it at that. Struggling at, the highest level. Now, he's so busy that he literally will not work with anybody under a price point that used to be, meaning his undermark. Like if it's under here, I don't work with him. I'm going to just tell you the number. He doesn't work with anyone under 500,000. He doesn't work with any of them. He does not work with clients under 500,000 and there's two things. They have to be over 500,000 and they have to call him. You don't call him and you ain't over 500,000, you don't work with him. This is a guy 13 months ago, respectfully struggling. Brilliant guy, hardest worker, obviously. Needed the right opportunity. He found it. God bless him. He deserves it. Well deserved. He worked hard. You could have given that same opportunity to anybody else and they would have fumbled the ball or the bag or whatever you say in 2022. This guy didn't. I'm super proud of him. You got to start. You got to start somewhere. And the most common mistake, I think, is not starting. I'm just curious, Woods, why do you think people choose not to start their YouTube channel? What's your opinion or feedback on that?
Well, I think, first of all, I think what's interesting, I think it's easier for, it's definitely easier for people that have a growth mindset. I think it's easier for younger people. I think it's a challenge for some people that are above a certain age that still have this association with see person on screen equals celebrity because they grew up watching TV. And so they think that there's such a gap between them and where they are and between being that person that's, worthy of being on screen. And so I think that there's just this psychological barrier that people don't overcome. Maybe they don't feel like they have enough value to add. They're confused on what to say. They feel like they're too busy. They don't have time. They feel like they're not good with technology. there's a million excuses why. However, the one fact remains is that anybody that does it, that starts, that learns it, skills can be learned, right? Now, there are people going to have natural talents that are going to be better than others? Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, whatever you pour time into, I believe that you can learn and that you can get better. And I believe that there is opportunity, and there's even, just like I believe that there's niches for everybody. I'm the guy who believed in, Stephen Ostler when we built out his funnel around first-time home buyers, when everybody else would say, hey, I don't want to mess with those people. That's a bad lead source. And he scaled it up, took one funnel that we had built for him and scaled it up and made, over $1 million in 1 year, $110,000 every single month from one funnel, from one source, focusing on one niche, right? That same logic can be applied to YouTube. You don't have to be, the coolest thing about what we do, especially in real estate, and you mentioned this earlier, I mean, you sell one house and go make, $10,000, $20,000, I mean, how many videos do you have to produce in order to do that? I mean, usually the compensation that you're getting in exchange for the value that you're creating is astronomical. And so, again, I believe that everybody has an opportunity to find their niche, to find their voice, and they just need to understand and learn the distribution channel. YouTube is a distribution channel for content. It's going to amplify the content. I know people that are great in a one-on-one environment that add value to people one-on-one in a one-on-one conversation. They're going to work with the client and do an amazing job. They're going to have great insight and great advice about an area, or they're going to know, all about the school districts. They're going to know all about the ins and outs of really how to work in the current market conditions, how to present offers, how to, list homes in a way that's going to help them sell for more money faster. So the key skill that can be acquired is translating that, from being able to do that in a one-on-one environment to be able to just turn on the camera like we're doing right now and have a conversation to the one person that's on the other end watching that through YouTube. And the cool thing is, when you learn how to do that, it's not just the one person, it's 1,000 people, or maybe it's not even 1,000 people. Maybe it's just 222 people. That's 222 people. Think about if you were out showing homes to 222 people. Imagine if you were standing up in front of a stage, giving a presentation to 222 people.
Imagine if those 222 people were 222 people because the video was only 4 months old, and it was 222 people every 120 days, and you had 222 videos that had 222 people every 222 days, and those videos were watched all over the world while you slept. It's leverage. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, and I've seen it happen from small beginnings, with shot with an iPhone. And I always show people some examples when we're working with a partner and helping them get started with their YouTube strategy. I show them examples. I was like, now watch this video. Does this seem like this is doable? Like, it's not super professional. This is not some amazing piece of art, right? But it's just the fact that they started and that they're getting the results now.
Heck yeah, man, dude, I love it. What a great episode. And here's the thing, like you said, Woods, I mean, all change starts with awareness. Maybe you have some of these things, and the only reason we're filming this content is our goal is to give you awareness. If you have desire, if you're out there seeking out content like this, then you got to receive and take action. That's the formula for change. We're not making winners. We're only looking for people that are looking for us, and we're trying to help winners win bigger and faster so they can live the best life that you can live, and that's a life by
strategy.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you like always. I thought that was extremely helpful. Great content, man. Can't wait to see you on the next episode.